SJ Talks with Life, coming back at you with another video. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please, and thank you. I'm going to talk about, I found this article I was on Microsoft last night, and I found um, this article, and this is really a great article. And so I decided to cover these 19 common myths of white people believe about racism. I'm not going to title my video like this, but this is the article from Microsoft, and I just thought this article was really well written. And then I got some of the comments from this article because they post articles on Microsoft. They post articles, and then they um, people can comment on the articles, and so I also um, gathered some of the comments that some of the white people made from this article. So I'm going to show you that too. But yeah, I'm going to go through these and talk about. I just thought this article was very well written, and yeah, it really breaks it down real good. 19 common myths of racism, and I'm gonna put my little 2 cents in. Now these are not in order from what the original article. Um, White men are discriminated against was one of them. The idea that the white men are serious victims of modern day discrimination conveniently ignores historical contents. Discrimination against white men is not similar to the systematic bias faced by people of color. How many times have we heard that, guys? How many times have we heard that uh, white men complaining about, not on a regular, not constantly, not all the time, but I don't know about you guys, but I've heard that, you know, white men complaining about from time to time, white men complaining about reverse discrimination, and they feel like they're being discriminated against and stuff like that. And so they try to compare themselves to, they try to compare it to, well, we know that the white male is the dominant um, male in American society. So come on now, we know that yeah, which means that they have more power than black men or any other minority men in this country because they're the dominant white men are the dominant males of American society. Okay, need I say more? Racial equality is a zero-sum game. The misconception here that progress for people of color means setbacks for white individuals. In reality, racial equality um, uh, searches society. I can't read it because something's covering that up. As a whole, and doesn't take away from anyone's well-being. Enriches society, I think, as a whole. I think that's what that word is. And it doesn't take away from anybody's well-being. So a lot of people have uh, have the tendency to think that just because um, progress is being made for people of color, that it sets white people back, and that's not true. That's not true because they're always going to be have more advantages over us anyway. So I mean, the mere fact that they have an issue with that speaks volumes. They don't want to see us get ahead. Protesting is unpatriotic. Inadequate protest for racial justice would be an patriotic. Protesting is about pushing the nation to live up to its promise of equality and justice for all its citizens. It shows that you believe it is possible to be better together. Yeah. How many times have we heard, especially during the George Floyd, uh, people were protesting nationwide. People of all races were protesting nationwide. And how many times, have when black people protested about police brutality, police shootings and things like that, and we were being accused of our people was being accused of being unpatriotic because we were protesting, you know, against that, you know. Um, yeah, hit me up in the comment section on that one. Microaggressions aren't a big deal. Something's covered up. Tempting sometimes to dismiss microaggressions as trivial. These small things have an effect over time that builds up to create a harder time for people of color. Think of being in a room with a passive, aggressive relative. They out shouting at you, but it's still offensive. Pretty much is what they're saying. So, actually, I was going to do a video talking about this. This is interesting because I've experienced this on and off for years and really didn't know that there was a term for it. I think a lot of black people didn't know that there was a term for I think um up to maybe 2 or 3 years ago I didn't know that there was a term for it. But I mean, how many times have let me know, sisters and brothers, in the comment section of how many times have you been in a workplace or anywhere else where white people have made comments about your hair, or I know that I've gotten a um when a white person gets a tan, they put their arm up to you, up to yours. See, I'm almost as dark as you are. I've gotten that one. I I don't know about you guys, but I've gotten that one. And I want to say you ain't never gonna be my complexion. But you kind of just blow it off because I've gotten these microaggressions in the workplace. They make little snide remarks about your race. Um, and people should be treated as human beings in the workplace, and particularly in the workplace. I want to be treated as a human being. I don't want to be treated, I don't want to be referenced by my race because my race doesn't define me. I am a human being. So I don't want to be referenced by my race, or I don't want my race being a topic of conversation in the workplace. I don't think any black person does. So it is offensive. I don't think white people realize how offensive that really is. It's very offensive. And I know that I don't know about you guys, but there was times where I would kind of brush it off, just kind of blow it off because you're in the mostly when it happened to me, it was in the workplace. You're not trying to ruffle no feathers. You're not trying to make any waves because you know how it is when you're in the workplace. I know I posted a clip. If you guys didn't see that, I posted a clip from a sister on TikTok was saying um, that because she was being quiet, you know, and wasn't conversating with the white people, they thought she was racist. And so I got a lot of hits on that. But it was a clip. It wasn't mine, but it was a clip from a sister on TikTok. Because I post those from time to time, and that's what I'm saying. We seem to can't win. Of course, it's a whole nother video, but we seem to can't win in the workplace as black women. And I had some black men come in the comment section and say that they've and I read on that her comment section on that TikTok, black men were coming forth and saying that, hey, this happened to me too. So it happens to black women and it happens to black men. that you can't seem to work if you're quiet or whatever like that. You know, they think you. I thought that was messed up how they accused her of being racist, though. I thought that was messed up. That's messed up. So the deflection is real bad with white people. I mean, they it's deflection and the white fragility is really really bad with them. And so a lot of them, not all of them, um, but a lot of times, in the workplace as a black person, you try to that line is you got to walk a straight line. That line got to be straight, and you got to walk a straight line because 9 times out of 10, your supervisor is white. The owner of the company is white, and a lot of your coworkers are white. You know, so you don't want to rock the boat as a black person on the job. So when you get these microaggressions, you don't want to be accused of anything or whatever. So being hostile and things like that. It's like I say, it's either way. You can't win. So when they say those things, and white folks know what they're doing, you just kind of blow it off. I don't know about you guys, but let me know in the comment section. There was times where I would just kind of blow it off, and I just that was an example of them putting their arm up next to mine. It's as dark as you. I won't say you ain't never gonna be my complexion. But stuff like that, I just would laugh it off or blow it off. There was other things, microaggressions that was said to me over my work career, years of working, where and every time I would just blow it off, because like I said, you don't want to. You as a black person in the workplace, you got to walk a fine line. That line got to be okay. I mean, you got to walk a straight line, and that line got to be straight because next thing you know, they got you in the office. Like that lady on that clip, they accused her of being racist simply because she wasn't um, talking to her coworkers. She ain't got. Is that in the job description? Do you have to talk to your coworkers? Other than um, work related work related things. You don't have to have conversations with your coworkers about any other thing uh, that's not related to the job. You don't have to talk to them about anything that's not related to the job. If it isn't related to the job, why is it necessary? So we'll probably do that a whole other video on that. But hit me up in the comment section. Let me know if you of some microaggressions as a black person in the workplace, because it mainly happens in the workplace or any other setting that you guys have experienced. But that's real. Racism ended with the civil rights movement. Some think that after the civil rights movement, racism magically disappeared. However, the reality is that racism is still at around us in multiple forms, including disparities in education, housing, and criminal justice. Yeah, I mean, we still have a lot of systematic racism. As far as I'm concerned, racism in this is at an all-time high. That's why I'm always talking about on here that black people, we need to unify and we need to stop being so against each other because racism is at an all-time high. You know, and but a lot of white people would like to believe that it's not. A lot of white people would like to believe that um it's all racism is a thing of the past. I've had white people tell me that racism is a thing in the past. Oh no, it's not a thing of the past. It may be a thing of the past for you because you don't have to experience it, but it's not. Like I said, the white fragility and the deflection is real with a lot of white people. You should have read some of the comments in this article. Um, I'm gonna read some to you, but it was a whole lot more than that. Uh, Only explicit racists are harmful. It's a widespread myth that only those who express overt racism contribute to the problem. Ever heard of microaggressive, subtle remarks, behaviors made by unintentional, but still perpetuate harmful racial stereotypes? And I was just talking about that. So they think it's because they're not burning a cross in your yard or calling you they're not calling you the N word or they're not burning a cross in your yard, or they're not being blatant about it. They think it's cool. They think it's nothing. If they think that as long as they're not doing those things, then it's not racist. You know, but racism has is so many forms. It's so many different levels to racism. Racism, it takes on so many different forms, and it's so many different levels to it. So, and that's what they a lot of times they like to believe, that they like to believe that well, I'm not burning a cross in your yard, or I'm not calling you the N word, so what's the problem? They don't realize that a lot of things that they say and do is offensive. You know, just treat people like human beings. Just treat us like human beings. You know, plain and simple. You know, um, some individuals, affirmative action is unfair. Some individuals argue that affirmative action policies unfairly favor minorities over white people. By contrast, the goal is to counter systematic disadvantages, that something's covering up that on the far left, something's covering up that. So it's hard for me to read. Systematic disadvantages that minorities face, essentially aiming for a level playing field for all. Um, yeah, a lot of people. How many times have we heard that affirmative action was unfair? Affirmative action was put into place because a lot of opportunities um, was denied to our people simply because we were black. With that, we're black. You know, um, in the playing field wasn't level. It's still not level. And so this is the reason why I know they just did a they took away affirmative action in colleges. I was going to do a video on that, but I never got around to it. They took away affirmative action in the colleges, where your race is not going to be considered while applying for college. You know, so I think they're going to eliminate it. I think that's just the beginning. They're going to eliminate it all across the board. I think I did speak about. I spoke on it. Um, there's a lot of discrimination. Black people still have to face a lot of discrimination at different colleges, particularly predominantly white colleges. Black people still have to face a lot of discrimination. So I don't know why they thought it was okay to get rid of that. You know, um, white women benefit more from affirmative action anyway. So, but I think they're going to take it away all across the board. As far as in the workplace, they don't have affirmative action police. So as far as in my city, white employers don't take that into consideration. They don't feel like they have to hire. I don't believe that they feel like they have to hire a certain amount of blacks because I just think they hire who they want to hire, you know. And white women benefit more from affirmative action. Affirmative action covers minorities. White women are considered a minority because they are white females. So if they hire a certain amount of white females, they are covered. Nobody's going to come into the workplace and say, okay, well, how many blacks and Hispanics do you have on the job here? They're not going to do that. So white women are covered under that affirmative action. And that's something that a lot of white people don't realize. White women benefit more from affirmative action. Reverse racism is real. The term reverse racism often surfaces in conversation, usually to accuse minorities of being discriminatory. But remember, racism is deeply rooted in systematic power relationships, so that the concept doesn't apply in the same way to majority groups. So, a lot of times they think, reverse racism is real. Um, First of all, white people are the dominant race in society. White is the dominant race in American society. So Um, our major, most of our major systems in the United, all of our major systems in the United States are ran by white people. So how can they be reverse discrimination? Black people do not have the power to um, discriminate against you because of housing or jobs, and because mostly our infrastructure here in the United States is ran by white people. Black people do, as a whole, do not have any economic power. You know, I talk about this kind of thing all the time. Boyce Watkins talks about it all the time. Black people, we do not have an economic base in the United States. Most of the economic basis and infrastructure in the United States is ran by white people. So how is it that we have the power to reverse racism? We don't have the power to reverse racism. I don't know about you guys, but every job that I've gotten, I had to go to a white person to get it. Every last job I had, the company was owned by white people. I've never worked for a black owned business ever because there's not a lot in my area. I've never worked for a black owned business. Now, if you live in Atlanta, you might be able to say you have because there's a lot of black owned businesses there. But that's one city. But I'm telling you, in my city, there's not there's virtually no black owned businesses in my city. Okay, or very little. I could never get a job inside of my community. I've always had to go outside of my community to look for a job. I've always had to go ask the white people for a job in my city. Hit me up in the comment section if that was the case for you. So if we have to, my thought is, and it's a fact, if we have to go to them for jobs, we have to go to them for our resources, not only our jobs, but we have to rely on them and depend on them for our resources because black people don't produce anything in this country. We don't mass produce anything. We don't own, we don't even run the government. Okay? We don't our government is ran by white people. We don't have any infrastructure in this country. So how is it that we have the power to implement reverse racism? We're not running anything. Okay? Plain and simple. Racism is only about hate. Only white people believe that racism is merely about explicit hate or derogatory comments. Um, it says many people believe that racism is merely about explicit hate or derogatory comments. However, racism exists in many uh, forms. Well, I cut off that part, including systematic and institutional structures. It's far more than just individual acts of malice. So a lot of, it's like what I was talking about before. A lot of white people have, they don't even know what racism is. I think it's interesting how they throw that word around like they know what it is. Like when a black person talks about simply, when a black person is simply just talking about racism, and they say you're racist for talking about racism. Yeah, not realizing that racism goes a whole lot deeper than that. It's like what they said, it's systematic institutional structures that are put in place by the dominant race, which is white people. Okay, that's there's a difference between prejudice and racism. Okay, there's a difference. White or black people can be prejudiced, but black people cannot be racist. Okay, because racism is like what they said, it's systematic and institutional. Uh, and we simply we surely can't be racist by just merely talking about it. Okay, they want us to shut up and just take it. That's what they want us to do, and we're not going to do that. I don't know about you guys. I'm not going to do that. Can't be racist. I'm a minority. I can't be racist. I'm a minority. Some white folks who might also belong to other minority groups think this exempts them from perpetuating racism. Being marginalized in one way doesn't regret a free pass to contribute to the discrimination in other contexts. Exactly. So just because you're a Jewish person, or you are or a Hispanic person, or you're an Italian person, or something like that, doesn't give you the right to be racist. You don't have a free pass to be a racist. Be racist against someone because you consider yourself, or you are yourself are a minority. Racist. Nobody should be racist. Just like black people. That's just like black people saying, I can't be racist against my own people because I'm black. Oh yes, you can be racist against your own people, and there is racism within the black community. uh, so yes, you can. Racism is wrong across the board, no matter who it's coming from. Sensitivity training is brainwashing. Some view sensitivity or diversity training programs as attempts to brainwash people. However, the aim is to foster an inclusive and tolerant work environment where all individuals feel valued and respected. So, sensitivity training is not brainwashing. It's just it's what it says. Okay, everybody has the right to be treated with respect in the workplace, regardless of race. It shouldn't matter what your race is. It is unacceptable for a person to be treated differently because they're black or any other race. The playing field should be level, and everybody has the right to be treated with respect and fair. Everything should be fair for everybody across the board. Everybody should be treated fairly, and should nobody be getting treated differently because they're black or any other race. So this is why a lot of times sensitivity training is needed, because it's to let people know that we need to. Because if I had a company, I would have a zero tolerance for that. I would have a zero. I'll make you sign make you sign a form to say that you're not going to be this. You're not going to treat people differently based on their race or any other reason, or you're going to be out the door. If I owned a company, I would have a zero tolerance for it. You're going to treat everybody with respect, or else get out my business, because I wouldn't tolerate it if I was a business owner. Okay, I would have a zero tolerance for it. you know, treat everybody with respect, and, kindness, and respect. You don't have to like a person, but just treat them with respect. People shouldn't be getting treated differently because of their race or any other reason. White people are losing their culture. There's an unfounded fear that white culture is being erased due to increased diversity of racial awareness. This worry overlooks the fact that culture is ever changing and no culture ever stands still. Holding on to the threads that being us closer is an important thing. Yeah, they definitely have that fear. White privilege means you're rich. People often think that white privilege means financial wealth, but it's not straightforward. White privilege manifests in various ways: socially, institutionally, culturally, in a nuanced concept that goes beyond economic status. Yeah, I've heard white people say that so many times. Um, I'm not rich. I don't have white privilege because I'm not rich. It's not about money. It's not about money. It could be something as simple as you being able to drive down the street in a nice car without being stopped, or something as simple as is you can go pretty much anywhere you want without people thinking that you're up to no good. You know, that's an example of white privilege. Black people, we can't move the same way. I don't care what you guys think. We got to move differently than y'all. We can't, black people can't move the same way that white people move, you know. When I got lost one time and I winded up in an affluent white area because there was the main road, part of the main road was shut down in my city. And I was like, well, I better get out of this neighborhood, you know. Yeah. And so I don't want them to call the police on me. So yeah. So you you don't have to worry about the police being called on you because you're black in a particular area. You know, these are the things that as black people we always have to think about all the time. We have to think about stuff like this all the time. We have to um just like the young man, the young black man that went into the house under construction just to look around and he got killed. The white guys thought he was up to no good and he got unalived. I mean to say it. He got unalived because the two white guys felt like he was up to no good. And all he was doing was just looking around. He was out jogging and seeing there was some construction on the house. And I love real estate too. And so um when I see that there's an empty house or whatever up for sale, I just go on Zillow to look at it. Or if I feel like I wanna uh, um, look at, find out what's going on in a certain area, um, I'll just get on Google Maps. I don't go poking around because, and so as black people, we just, that's how we have to move. Okay. We move, I don't care what you guys think. We have to move differently than you do because they always think we up to no good. So white people have lots of privileges and white people can do lots of things that as black people we can't do. Okay, so that's white privilege. Everyone has an equal shot if they work hard. The idea that working hard guarantees success for everyone is irresponsible, irrespective of race. It's flawed. Unseen barriers often make it very challenging for people of color to climb the ladder despite their best efforts. Ever heard of the black tax? Ever heard of the black tax? How many brothers and sisters, let me know in the comment section how many times have you had to pay the black tax? And you was in a workplace, you had to pay the black tax. I know there were times I had to pay the black tax. No matter how hard you work, it ain't good enough. And that's that was one of my pet peeves when I worked, is that I'm doing the best job that I can do, and you still trying to say I ain't doing my job. You're still trying to accuse me of not doing my job, and I'm bending over backwards, uh, blowing my back out, trying to get the job done, and you're still telling me that I'm not working hard enough. I'm not. I mean, let me know. Hit me up, brothers and sisters, in the comment section. Let me know that how many times have you had to pay the black tax? No matter, especially in corporate America, it's terrible in corporate America. It's like no matter how hard you work, you have to work 10 times harder to get twice as far. I don't care how hard you work, it still ain't good enough. And it infuriates me to have someone, I know I'm working hard and I know I'm doing a job to the best of my ability, and you're gonna accuse me of not doing my job? That infuriates me. I hate that. Racial equality is a zero-sum game. I already covered that one. Social programs eliminate racial inequality. They often assert that social programs like welfare and effectively eradicated the racial inequity. While these programs do provide some relief, they can't magically erase the issues deeply ingrained in society. So, yeah, they always bringing up welfare. Statistically, more white people are on food stamps and things like that. And they think that I've heard white people say when in with conversations about reparations, I've heard white people say, "Well, what about welfare?" I don't know about you guys, but that infuriates me. Not every black person is on welfare, and first of all, welfare was originally created for white people. everybody gets welfare across the board. So no, that is not reparations. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but that really pisses me off when they say that. Police brutality is an isolated problem. Thinking that incidents of police brutality are isolated cases ignores the broader systematic problem. The incidents often mirror other issues of racial profiling and inequality within the law enforcement system. Yeah, it's racial. They do racially profile in my city. You know, just stopping a black, especially particularly black males. I think black males get it worse than black females. My two sons have been racially profiled. Just stopped for no reason. You know, for no apparent reason. You know, um, they always think you're up to no good, particularly black females, but particularly black males. They always think you're up to no good. They always think that, I remember my son coming home one day at 13 years old, and said that him and his friends got stopped. They were walking, just simply walking down the street, and the police searched them and asked and questioned them. I said, that's illegal search and seizure. And I was gonna go down to the police station and give them the riot act. And my son was like, Mom, just let it go. But I was pissed. Oh, I was pissed. And that is not the first time that both of my sons have came back and told me that they were stopped for no reason, or yeah. So racial profiling is real, particularly with black men. It happens to black women too. I had it done to me one time. You know, I told that story on a video a long time ago. Me and my son both was accused of robbing my white neighbors. And yeah, that was fun. So it happens. People don't realize it happens. They always think we are up to no good. The common myth is that talking about race creates a worse and worsens racial tensions. It is almost exact opposite. Open dialogue is often the first step towards understanding and dismantling system issues that prop up in racial inequality. Exactly. Um, yeah, they think that, and I think Morgan Freeman, and he know better, said that one time in an interview that we should just stop talking about it. He ought to know better. Um, no, that's not going to get rid of it by not talking about it. You know, we need to have that. We need to have this dialogue. It's important. Everyone has an equal shot if they work hard. The idea that hard work guarantees success for everyone, irrespective of race, is flawed. Unseen barriers often make it far more challenging for people of color to climb the ladder despite their best efforts. Yeah, everybody they have the tendency to think if you all you have to do is work hard. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. It doesn't matter how, as a black person or any other minority, it doesn't matter how hard you work. Okay, there's still gonna be a barriers there. If they don't want you to get ahead, they're not you're not gonna get ahead, plain and simple. You know, no matter how hard you work. You know, a lot of racism is about power. Remember, a lot of racism is about power. Okay, it's about making sure that certain things, you know, that certain people have more power than other races of people. It's ensuring that the dominant race has more power than other races of people. Okay, so if they want to be on top and they're running the company, then it doesn't matter how hard you work. You know they're gonna do everything in their power to make sure you don't get there because they want to be in that position. It's not rocket science. Now these are some of the comments that was in that on that article. These are some of the comments. Racism is racism, whether power is involved or not. Just be a contributing member of society, get an education, job, raise your kids with discipline, be a good role model, obey the laws. Is that too hard to ask? I wish it was that simple. Yep, I really wish it was that simple. People of color are racist. Wow. That's what this guy says. People of color are racist. Well, we're probably more guilty of being racist towards each other than white people. We don't have the power to be racist against white people. Just be contributing. Okay, I already had that. Got that one. Gotta love MSN and their constant need to beat the race baiting on a daily basis. Why are the powers to be feel the need to beat this to death? Because they actually have a lot of interesting articles about race and stuff. And gay, oh, they get mad. They get mad. They don't want to hear it. So let me know, guys, what you think in the comment section. Let me know, brothers and sisters, what you think in the comment section. As always, be respectable. You can express your opinion without insults and things like that. But let me know in the comment section about this article, about the things that I talked about. Have you anything type of racism that you experience, microaggressions and things like that? How do you feel about race relations in this country? Do you feel like it's gotten better or gotten worse? I think it's gotten worse. I mean, it's at an all-time high. But yeah, feel free to share your experiences in the comment section and let me know what you think. Hit that like, subscribe, and share. Until the next video, you guys be blessed.